I have no idea whether he'll be disappointed, but he's been on both sides of this issue for months, and it's time for him to pick a side. And the right side is to stand with Europe. I'm very glad he's meeting with Poland, and to let Lindsey Graham and the Graham-Blumenauer bill pass the Congress. It's overwhelmingly supported, and it would impose secondary sanctions across the board on countries that are dealing in oil with Russia. It's been the right thing to do forever, and Trump is not making the decision. So I'm a little confused, maybe, but disappointed that we keep moving the goalpost over and over and over again. One thing I would say is that the stakes get higher and higher. It's almost the end of summer. When the snow comes, a lot of what Ukraine can do will not work anymore. Drones, yes, but supplies are running low. The U.S. government may close, God forbid, at the end of September because we don't have a budget. And there is still enormous ambivalence in Trump's base about what to do about Ukraine. I'm not ambivalent. Ukraine is a democratic country invaded by Russia. And if Putin gets away with this, he goes straight into Europe. And we just saw that Poland was increasing military drills because there were air attacks in western Ukraine, which is very close to eastern Poland. One more comment. Poland has taken in so many Ukrainian refugees, starting at the beginning, and assimilating them. I don't think any other country has been as generous, and we really, really owe a lot to Poland.
Jane, you mentioned a key piece there, which is those secondary or even tertiary sanctions when it comes to really targeting who is going to be buying oil from Russia. There are still countries in Europe that are very much dependent on those exports, even 3 years from the war. Could they be on that list of countries at the White House that could face those targets?
Well, I think it'd be hard to exempt them. I mean, there are oil resources available elsewhere, including from the United States. I mean, we've been talking about this forever, oil and fuel resources. And we have a surplus, notwithstanding some of the rhetoric around, and we could expedite shipping some of it to Europe. So I'm not sympathetic. I think this war has to end, but it has to end on Ukraine's terms. One more thing. I read that Putin said he'll meet with Zelensky if Zelensky comes to Russia. That's Zelensky's choice. But why would he do that? Russia is the aggressor in violation of international law and has been every single night killing Ukrainian children and bombing schools and kidnapping hundreds of children. I would think it goes the other way. Putin should be coming to Ukraine and asking for something reasonable.
Jane, what did you make of the president's remarks about our troop presence in Poland, knowing that at times the president may have been listening to Vladimir Putin on this issue? Russia would love U.S. troops to be out of Eastern Europe. And he said he has no intention of reducing the number of troops in Poland. Quote, they've always wanted to have a larger presence. We have some countries that have more, not too many. But no, they'll be staying in Poland. Is that a turn based on the way the president is feeling about Vladimir Putin over the past couple of days?
Well, again, this is what he said today. What's he going to say tomorrow? But if it were up to me, darn well keep those troops there. Keep our coordinating base that provides intel and strategy into Ukraine in Germany. I visited it. It's in Wiesbaden, very impressive. And the U.S. is part of NATO. The defense of Europe is part of our commitment. And if we don't defend Europe, I think we leave ourselves vulnerable. And we, again, violate our fundamental values, which are to uphold the rule of law. That's how we win against China and these other countries. We have values. They don't. They're just thugs. And I don't want my country to become like them. I want my country to be the shining city on the hill, which is what Ronald Reagan said it was.
Jane, the world's been digesting shocking images coming out of China, not only in terms of warm embraces with Vladimir Putin, Xi Jinping, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, among many, many other leaders, but also a very flashy military parade. I'm curious how you think that's being received here in the States. Does that almost justify a show of force, a show of strength here in the States?
Well, again, my point is, renaming the Department of Defense of U.S. values and the U.S. soil, the Department of War communicates the wrong message. We haven't done it yet. I hope we don't do it. Matching widget to widget with China is not going to win. I mean, China's now has a broad appeal around the world, including an economic appeal. To remind, we have pulled out of Africa. We have closed and defunded our soft power, including USAID and parts of the State Department. We're reducing our ability to compete with China on using all elements of national power, which was what this Commission on National Defense Strategy recommended. If we just become the war machine, we're going to invite war, and that is exactly not what we should be doing.
You probably saw the president's post on Truth Social as he was watching the parade that Creedy mentions. This was a post aimed at President Xi. Jane Harman, he wrote in part, "Please give my warmest regards to Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un as you conspire against the United States of America." What's the conspiracy?
Well, Putin said Trump has a sense of humor. I thought it was a snide comment. I don't know what was in Trump's head, but I can't imagine, again, that he really means what that says. And he's got to pick a side. Why don't you pick the side of American values and American democracy, which has been so valuable for almost 250 years, not just since World War II, but let's understand people want to come here. They don't want to line up and go to China or Russia. And Russia has devastated its economy by this wrong-headed war. Putin's only alive in this war because he's being bailed out by China and North Korea. They all have nukes. That is very scary. But the right answer is to promote American values. That's how you promote American power. That's how we will win.
Jane, I want to take the conversation back to Ukraine if we can. As you were speaking, we were getting headlines coming from the Elysee, from Emmanuel Macron speaking alongside Volodymyr Zelenskiy in Paris. Emmanuel Macron saying Europeans are ready to provide security guarantees to Kyiv. In your opinion, can the Europeans do it alone?
Well, they can do a lot of it, and I want to salute the leaders of Europe who have not backed down and have consistently taken the right side of this issue. They can do a lot. They can provide troops. They can provide training. They can't provide all the intel that we can provide, but they can, as they have claimed to be doing, I hope they're doing it, use at least the interest from the seized Russian assets to fund military assets into Ukraine. I'm devastated that it turns out the Trump administration has been telling Ukraine for months, not telling us, but it leaked, I guess, a week ago, that those long-term assets, the ATACMS, the long-range missiles, cannot be used to attack Russia. Why can't they? Russia's using military airfields to attack Ukraine. We're not talking about bombing kids in Russia, which is what Russia's doing to Ukraine. We're talking about measures to take out the offensive weapons that Russia is using against Ukraine. So I'm hoping that somehow Europe will be able to help with this, and that President Trump will figure out that the right side of this to be on is to keep the commitments that he personally made. And he's meeting with Zelensky, I gather, later this week, and to tell Zelensky, okay, the Lindsey Graham Blumenthal bill is passing. Congress wrote it, and I can't veto it. And this is how we're going to stand with you and prevail for democracy.